Hey everyone, welcome back to the NHถี่podcast. Your go-to English podcast for learning English to improve your life. I'm Aaron, and as always, I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, Evan. Evan, how are you doing today? Hey Aaron, I'm doing great, feeling energized and ready for today's topic. How about you? I'm doing well too. You know, I had this moment yesterday where I just sat down and thought, why does it feel like some people completely turn around while others stay stuck in the same place? Oh, I have been thought too. So you see somebody good or struggling was successful and you wonder, what's the secret? Are they just lucky or is just something doing differently? Exactly. And then I started thinking about when I was struggling English. I first impossible. So many words, so many rules. But then little by little things make sense. That's so true. When I first started learning, I kept thinking, if I just knew more words, I'd be fluent. But it's not just about vocabulary. It's about building habit, changing your mindset, and actually using what I learned. And that's when it hit me. Life is the same way. Big transformation don't happen overnight. It's not about one huge decision. It's about the change every day. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. How to change your life. And before we jump in, we something special for you. We created a free PDF and packed practical exercise to help you real steps to change your life. In key takeaway come today: question, comprehension, the test will understand, and grammar exercises for building confidence in your English skills. And that's not all. We're also introducing some intermediate level words and phrases in today's episodes. That's right. And we'll take a closer look at them later in Charlotte's vocabulary section, where Charlotte will break down words and phrases, explain their meaning, and shows how to use them in real-life conversations. So stick around. By the end of this episode, not only will have practical steps to change your life, but you'll also have new English vocabulary to help you express your ideas and even better. You know, Aaron, thinking about we just talked about how life changes by little, it makes me wonder why so many people struggle to make those changes in the first place. That's the great question. Change sounds exciting, right? As fresh start and new beginning. But here's the truth. Most people never actually make these changes. Why? Because change is hard. Let's talk about common reasons before stuck. Yeah. First, there's fears of failure. Make me ask, what if I try and fail? But what if you try and succeed? Every successful person has failed a long way. But the difference is, they kept going. Exactly. The second reason is lack of directions. Some people know they want a better life but don't know where to start. They think they need the perfect plan before taking actions. And then the negative self-talk. Saying like I never be good at it, or I'm not just a language person. These thoughts stop progress before we even begins. Finally, one of the biggest traps, waiting for motivation. People say, I'll start when I feel ready. But here's the secret. Motivation comes after actions, not before. That reminds me of a struggle with the personal challenge. I kept waiting for a perfect moment to start, but that moment never came until I just became first step. And watched it, everything started falling into play. That's the great point. And I remember that feeling the same I was learning English. At first, I thought, I'm not good at this. But then I realized the only way to get better to actually start practicing. Exactly. And that brings to our key lesson. Understanding what's holding you back is the first step to changing your life. One more barriers, you can start working on breaking them down. So, Evan, Now that we understand what holds people back, the next big question is how do we actually start making no changes? That's where small daily improvement come in. People often think they need dramatic transformation overnight, but real change happens gradually. Have you heard of a 1% rule? Yeah. If you improve just 1% every day, you'll be 37% better in years. That's because small efforts compound over time, just like interest in a bank account. Exactly. And that ties into the power of habits. James Clear talked about atomic habits, how habits shape our identity. Small changes need not seem big at first, but they really define who you are over time. Right. Right, reading just 10 minutes a day, practicing English for 5 minutes daily, or even replacing negative thoughts towards positive affirmations. I love real life examples. I know someone who became fluent in English just by listening to podcasts every day. They didn't start with an intense study plan, just consistent small steps. That's so inspiring. The takeaway here is small consistent actions like lead to results over time. So if you're listening or wondering to start, just pick one small habit today. Exactly. And you know, Aaron, when taking action is important, there's something even more fundamental, our mindset. Because let's be honest, how we think about change your makes are different. Absolutely. There's something in the course growth mindset versus fixed mindset. If you have a growth mindset, you believe I can improve. But if you have a fixed mindset, you think, I'll never be good at this. That's a huge difference. And another thing, the focus on what we change in the notice. Have you heard a particular Yes, it's why when you learn a new word, you suddenly hear it everywhere. Your brain filters information based on you focus on. So if you keep telling yourself, I can do this, your brain will improve it. But if you say, I am improving every day, your brain will focus on progress instead. That's what's in progress in your mind is so powerful. There is a way to the affirmations, visualizations, and gratitude. Right, positive self-thoughts like I'm getting better every day helps reshape our thoughts. Visualizations, seeing yourself succeed, trick your brain into belief impossible. And don't forget gratitude practice. When you focus on what's going on, we train your brain to see opportunities instead of obstacles. That's the power of mindset. It's not magic. It's about training your brain to work for you, not against you. So true. Now we talk about a power mindset. There's something else that holds people back, waiting for the right moment to start. Yeah, so many people believe that they need to be completely ready before you take action. But here's the truth, we will never feel full ready. Exactly. Progress comes before confidence. When I was learning English, I hesitated to start speaking because I felt like I was an error. I kept thinking, what if I make mistakes? But the more I waited, the harder it became. That's so relatable. But when you finally took that first step, what happened? Well, once I started speaking, I realized that making mistakes was part of the learning process. It's conversations, even with errors, build confidence. I was perfect, but I was improving. And that's the key. There's a concept I love. Done is better than perfect. Too many people delay actions because they're everything to be just right. But in reality, imperfect actions is always better than no action. Right. If you waited for perfection, you never get started. When you're learning English, start a new habit, or making a big life change, just begin. Small wins are begin to improve your over time. So here's the challenge for you, our listeners. Think of one thing you've been boasting. It could be practicing English, starting a workout routines, or even just reaching out someone for help. And then Just take one small step today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because action leads to momentum, and momentum leads to confidence. That's right. Small, consistent actions over time create massive change. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Make today the day you start. Speaking of actions, have you ever noticed how much our surroundings have shaped our habits and decisions? It's not about just what we do, but what we surround ourselves with. Absolutely. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, and the mindset you adopt all plays a huge role in shaping your life. Yes, there's a famous saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're surrounded by negative, unmotivated people, it's hard to stay motivated. But if you're a very positive, goal-driven individual, in the energies the habits will rub on you. That's so true. So how can we create an environment that supports growth? First, start by following inspirational people. Was the authors, speakers, or even social media accounts? Expressing yourself, expressing influence will shift it by step over time. Absolutely. And enjoy online learning community is another great way to stay motivated. There are so many groups out for English learners, book clubs, and personal development. When you part of communities that value growth, you naturally start improving too. And just as important to our positive influences is reducing exposure to negative. That could mean limiting times for us with people constantly complaining, even cutting down on negative news on social media. It drains your energies. That reminds me of when I was learning English. I felt stuck until I joined an English learning community. Suddenly, I had people practice with stress struggles and celebrate progress. That makes all difference. That's such a great example. The right environment creates momentum, making it easier to grow and stay on track. So here's something to think about. Who are the 5 people who you're spending with? Are they helping you grow or are they holding you back? And in pushing you to be better, it might be time to adjustments. Surrounding yourself with people influenced that inspire and uplift you. And speaking of inspirations, sometimes learning new words and phrases can help you articulate our goals and mindset even better. That's why we have challenge here to break down some key vocabulary from today's discussions. Absolutely. Take it away, Charlotte. Hello, English learners. It's time for Charlotte's vocabulary breakdown. In today's episode, Aaron and Evan introduce some great change mindset environment. Let's take closer look at some key vocabulary and how to use them in real-life conversations. Transformations, meaning a big change in something. Example, after years of hard work, Amelia's experienced complete transformation in her career, going from intern to a company director. Mindset, meaning the way you think about things. Example, Jack changed his mindset about exercise and now he enjoys working out every morning. Surrounding, meaning the things that people around you. Example, Anna moved to the peaceful countryside home because he wanted to more positive surroundings. Momentum, meaning the force that keeps something moving. Example, one Daniel started in 500 words a day. He built momentum and finished his book just 3 months. Exposures, meaning this amount of contact you have with something. Example, watching movies increases trust exposure to native speech, improving her listening skills. Growth driven, meaning focus on improvement. Example, Leo joined growth driven study group and encouraged his to learning and setting new goals. Visualizations, meaning the formation in a mental image of something often used to enhance motivation, confidence, and performance. Example, every night, Mark visualized himself speaking confidence before his presentations. Affirmation, Meaning, a positive statement to encourage yourself. Example, James started her day with affirmations, I am capable and strong. Community, meaning, a group of people shares interests. Example, David found amazing scouting of runners who motivates him completed his first marathon. Accountable, meaning, responsibility for your own progress. Example, Mia sets weekly goals for herself and track her progress to stay accountable in her fitness journey. That's for today's vocabulary breakdown. Back to you, Erin and Evan. Thank you, Charlotte. Those were some really useful words for phrases. So, Erin, if you have you list our know with one key takeaways from today's episode, what would it be? A says, you have more control of your life than you think. Small changes, your right mindset, and strong environments completely transform your life. That's so true. And remember, progress doesn't happen overnight, but every step you get, you're closer where you want to be. And don't forget to grab free PDF guides for today's episodes. It packs with practical exercise and vocabulary to help you reinforce what you learn. Also, let us know in the comments what small change you may make in today. We love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave reviews. Let's keep growing together. See you next time on the English podcast.